and do some ironing. Ladies and gentlemen, Victoria Wood. So, lovely casual evening, this, isn't it?
Yes, isn't it? I'm crumpled already, I'm afraid.
You're on this national tour, but
yes.
Do you have a large entourage?
There's 3 of us.
Ah.
There's a man who fiddles with my cleavage, and he's a sound man, Ian, and then there's Dawn who does everything else, so there's just the 3 of us.
And do you travel in any kind of style?
No, no kind of style. We have our own kettle, which I think is rather good. And we have our own supply of jammy dodgers. It's very, very low-key.
Wow, jammy dodgers. And you're doing sort of 100 dates in 2 hours at a time. That's a lot of hours, and stamina is required. Do you have a secret stash of stimulants?
Well, I think the jammy dodgers is it, actually. That's, I think that's my secret. If anybody would like to send me a supply, we'd be quite happy to get them.
And that's enough to keep you going?
Yes, I like it. That's what keeps me going, liking doing it. I do love it.
Yeah. And this series, or rather this tour, you've introduced a lot of baby talk, haven't you?
Well, there's a bit of... I think I'm the last one to catch up with it. I think every other comic's done a pregnancy routine. But I don't know if Lenny has, but, you know, the women have. And I thought it was about time I did really deal with that side of life, the below-the-waist area.
In some detail, I know.
In some detail. Well, I think it has, you know, things are there to be said.
Do you find that men in your audience shift uncomfortably when you talk about women's functions?
Well, it's the women who shift uncomfortably because a lot of them are pregnant. No. And some of them have had to leave. People are, oh, no, you know. If they come back, you know, they book their ticket 9 months in advance, and by the time they get to the theatre, it's due that night, and they say, oh, well, anyway, we'll go anyway, and then you have to make announcements in the interval. Oh, Mr. So-and-so, please go and find his wife, because she's gone to the...
You brought them on, as they say.
I brought them on. I got them going.
Yeah. How do you recognise a Wood fan?
Well, they've usually got a berry on, I'm afraid. I do this character with a character with no name with a berry and a raincoat. And at the end of the show, when I go around to sign autographs, a lot of mad girls of about 16 come round with berries and raincoats, talking like that, and say, "Can I have your autograph?" They're all from Surrey. I mean, I don't know why they talk like that. That's how you can recognise them.
Is it on the trolley?
Is it on the trolley? I have to write, is it on the trolley, on the photograph. So instead of just writing best wishes, I have to write, is it on the... God, why did I think of it? It takes me hours. You know, I don't get home for hours because I've had to write, is it on the trolley 99 times.
It's madness, isn't it? They're mostly girls, are they?
They're mainly... Well, I guess a lot of people come around, but the only people who wear the berries... Oh, no, there is one boy. He sends me berries. This is what I get. I don't know if Kate gets this, but people are sending me...
Rather
me berries in the post, which is quite nice, really, because they're quite hard to come by, the very bright yellow.
Yes. Difficult to understand why, really, isn't it?
And the other thing people come dressed as, they come dressed as people from Acorn Antiques, so that's harder to tell, though, because that's a very fine line between, you know, just being an ordinary batty middle-aged woman and being a 16-year-old girl with a wig and a cardigan on. So I never... I don't like to say too much, just in case they are, you know, genuinely look like that.
Yes. Your last TV work, I think, was when you examined breakfast television. Are you still studying that for ammunition?
I don't watch it a lot. I watched it a little bit in hotels, and I have to say, the last twice I've watched it, there's been a cracker of a faux pas each time I've seen it. Well, the first time was just like the awful link, the awful television link. This woman said, and we'll be talking about giving birth to dolphins later on. But first, and then you could see her mind going, she said, I don't know if dolphins ever get cystitis. And that is really true. And then the other one was just last week with Eamon Holmes, about 7 o'clock in the morning. So he obviously wasn't, you know, he wasn't quite with it. And he said, and he was looking at the autocue like this, and he said, and later on we'll be talking to Linda LaPlante about her new series, Backache. Linda LaPlante about her new series, Backache, with Dr.
Yes. I did a bit in that series, and it was Backache, actually. TV soaps, of course, are still pounding on, millions of fans.
They are.
And you're one of them, aren't you?
I'm a big fan, yes. I'm a big fan of El Dorado. I actually just sent them some money, the Save the El Dorado campaign. I did. A bit late, Save El Dorado. It's like, you know, band decimalisation campaign. But I feel very sorry for them that they've all been axed. I think Alan Yentob wants to have a rethink, really.
Yeah. Where did it go wrong, then? Why do you think...
Well, it never went right, did it? I think they put it on about a year too early because you couldn't hear it. When you could hear it, it was in a foreign language. It looked awful. They had people called Bunny and Fizz. People couldn't act. People couldn't talk properly. You know, there were things like that, you know, basic errors. Apart from that, it was jolly good.
What was left?
But now, I think, you know, now, just as it's picking up, you know, the BBC seems to have lost patience with it. I think it's such a shame. All those poor blooming actors have been stuck in that hole, you know, all year. And now they're just being sent home with their tails between their legs. I think it's very sad.
Yeah. What about the series that are working? Are you keen on those? There's only a couple,
what, the ones they're keeping on? I
yes.
Well, EastEnders and things like that, you mean. Now, I think you should declare an interest here. Now, I've not seen it lately because of the tour. I've not seen all the ins and outs, but sorry, I didn't mean to say that.
There have been quite a few.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't know, how is Arthur getting on with them?
Well, he's looking very tired, I must say that.
I just wondered whether he'd been in the shed on the allotment, you know, like Lady Chatterley, I thought. You know.
Last time he was rolling on the ground with this other guy.
Oh, was he? Now, there's a new twist for EastEnders.
Yeah. I hadn't met that actor who plays the part of Bill Treacher, and my wife, as you know,
yes,
of course, what we're talking about is the lady concerned.
Mrs. Hewitt.
And he rang home, and Lizzie said, "Do you want to talk to him?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "You bastard." And, that was the end of that. Anyway, I've heard that you may be involved in getting into a radio station for women. Are you putting in a bid for that?
No, I'm not. They wrote me a letter. They said, "What do you think of this idea of having radio for women?" And I wrote back, "I think it is a terrible idea. Best wishes, Victoria Wood." Because I am a woman, and I've actually been listening to the radio for 40 years. So, is it illegal for women to listen to the radio? Well, as far as I was concerned, there was radio. We have radio, and we are allowed to listen to it. And why we need a little separate radio station just for women, I don't know. I think it's a horrible, horrible idea.
Yes, and you say women like that. Do you think that might be that?
Well, I don't know what it could be. I don't know why there needs to be.
But you are a keen listener, obviously.
I like the radio, yes, but I don't want to be in a special compartment, I don't want to have my gender checked before I tune in, really.
You're talking of gender checking, Julie Walters, here's a link. Julie Walters did that thing.
I don't know whether Julie Walters has ever had cystitis, but...
She did that thing, Almost a Woman, wasn't it? And you and she are going to work together again.
Yes, we're hoping to do a film together. I've written a screenplay called Pat and Margaret, which is about two sisters, which I'm hoping that Julie and I will do next year sometime.
How far ahead are you with that plan?
Well, I've written the screenplay, and I've got to do more bits on it this summer, in between the two gaps between the two tours, and we should film it next year, all being well.
All this in the family too?
Oh, yes. Oh, where are they? I've not seen them for months. No. I think one of them's not mine, actually. I only went in to have my legs waxed, and that's why I had an epidural, and, so they said, "Look, will you take this home with you, because it's making a terrible noise." He comes with me. He's 13 months, and he comes with me on tour. It's like taking Keith Moon on tour, really. Except the damage is only 2 foot up the walls.
And you're planning what must be a record number of appearances at the Albert Hall.
Well, yes, we're going for 12 nights to the Albert Hall in the middle of September.
Wow,
that's
a big one, isn't it?
It is a big one, yeah. But it's a nice shape. It's quite cosy. It's a bit like a jammy dosh, really.
Right. Well,
there's another link, you see.
Yes. Well, here comes another one. It is time for some more company, you see. And taking over the warm seat from the wood botty is a singer whose first record in 1978 astonished listeners with its originality and her own extraordinary style, made her an instant